think I will read another verse from the Anguttara Nikaya, and then if you all have any other questions, ask you can ask also. Huh? So the next is still in Book of Fives, section 4, under Kings. Sutta 131, continuing to turn the wheel. Bhikkhus, possessing 5 factors, a wheel-turning monarch sets the wheel in motion solely through the Dhamma, a wheel that can not be turned back by any hostile creature in human form. What 5? Here, a wheel-turning monarch is one who knows what is good, one who knows the Dhamma, one who knows the right measure, who knows the proper time, and who knows the assembly. Possessing these 5 factors, a wheel-turning monarch sets the wheel in motion solely through the Dhamma, a wheel that cannot be turned back by any hostile creature in human form. So too, bhikkhus, possessing 5 qualities, the Tathagata, the Arahant, the perfectly enlightened one, sets in motion the unsurpassed wheel of the Dhamma solely through the Dhamma, a wheel that cannot be turned by any ascetic, Brahmin, Deva, Mara, or Brahma, or by anyone in the world. What 5? Here, the Tathagata, the Arahant, the perfectly enlightened one, is one who knows what is good, who knows the Dhamma, who knows the right measure, who knows the proper time, and who knows the assembly. Possessing these 5 qualities, the Tathagata, okay, a bridge. The Tathagata, let me see, where do I continue from here? I prefer to read the whole thing. Okay. The Tathagata, the Arahant, the perfectly enlightened one, sets in motion the unsurpassed wheel of the Dhamma, a wheel that cannot be turned back by any ascetic, Brahmin, Deva, Mara, Brahma, or by anyone in the world. So this is the verse that we are sharing today. Maybe just a few things. So again, there's 2 parts. The first one is the worldly. The second is the supramundane. Yeah, which is what the first one is the king. Yeah, worldly king. The second is the Buddha. Both talk about turning a wheel. Yeah, both abide by the Dhamma. Turn the wheel through the Dhamma. So the first one is a worldly king. Yeah. So then in contrast, in a way, we can say the Buddha is like a supramundane king. But I don't recall him referring to himself as a king ever. Yeah. He usually referred to himself as like a good doctor, yeah, a good teacher, and so on. So a wheel-turning monarch in the Buddhist text, and I think this exists before the Buddha's time. That means this idea, yeah, of a worldly king that is very powerful, yeah, is known as a wheel-turning monarch. In Chinese, is 转轮圣王, 转轮圣王. Yeah. So 5 things. Knows what is good, knows the Dhamma, knows the right measure, knows the proper time, and knows the assembly. Both are identical. And then on the Buddha's side, there's a list given, yeah, that the Dhamma is a wheel that cannot be turned by any ascetic, Brahmin, Deva, Mara, or Brahma, or by anyone in the world. Yeah, so this statement itself is a lion's roar. If you look around in the suttas, there's a sutta called lion's roar. Yeah. And some societies, the society name, or sometimes the article is called Lion's Roar. Yeah, I think there's a publication called Lion's Roar, and it's all referring to the Buddha making a statement, and that cannot be refuted by others. Yeah, because it's the truth. In one of the sutta, the Buddha explained what is a lion's roar. So it's a metaphor actually. Yeah, a parable, a metaphor that in the jungle, the lion is like the king of the beasts. So when other animals, like when you go to MacRitchie, you hear all kinds of birds, cricket. You chirp yours. I chirp mine. Yeah, so you pass away. Yeah, you chirp very well. Then the toad come up. Yeah, but then the Buddha says there's one beast in the jungle, yeah, in the forest, where when it roar, everybody else goes silent. Yeah, and that is the lion. Then he says, likewise, in this world, there arise a Tathagata, an Arahant, a perfectly enlightened one, and when he declares the truth, declares the Dhamma, nobody else can refute it. Yeah, so in that way, it's like the lion's roar. So here the whole list by any ascetic, because Buddha was an ascetic, but he's not the only ascetic, and he was not the only category of ascetics. The Buddha's disciples, the bhikkhus, and then subsequently the bhikkhunis, they were all ascetics. Yeah, but before the Buddha, there were other ascetics already. Yeah, so they were non-Buddhist ascetic, and they have different views, different opinions about this world, about what is the truth and what is not the truth. Yeah, but when the Buddha declared what he has realized, what he has observed, what he has seen and attained to, others try. Not that they don't try, they try, but they are not able to refute what he has said. So this is the power of truth. And then including the Brahmin. So there are ascetics who are the cultivators, right? They don't have family. Yeah, they don't have a house, they don't have property. Then there are the Brahmins. Yeah, so Brahmins are those who worship Brahma, and they are the religious priests of that order. So they also come and challenge the Buddha, question the Buddha, but they are not able to defeat the Buddha in his teachings. Then there's Deva. Deva refers to gods. So not all gods are Buddhist. Yeah. So interestingly, there are gods who come and ask Buddha questions also. And after asking questions, they become the Buddha's disciples. Yeah. They find that, oh, this makes sense. Then they become his disciple. There are also those who, the moment the Buddha attained Buddhahood, they are already the Buddha's disciple. Why? Because they have been around a long time. Some of them have been around since the time of Buddha Dipankara. Some of them have been around since the time of Buddha Kashyapa. Yeah. So the moment a Buddha arrives, they know, oh, this one also Buddha. So when you have accepted the teachings, and some of them are actually third stage enlightened ones. Yeah, devas include all the way to the form world. So when you are already an enlightened being, the moment you see that there's a Buddha around, you naturally, yeah, recognize that there is a Buddha. Yeah, and you don't have to you won't be going like, so smart, huh? My Buddha attained Buddhahood long time ago. No, you are new Buddha. But we human beings have this problem. Yeah, if we are very fond of this teacher, yeah, we listen. My teacher explains so well, Then maybe another your friend of your Dhamma friend, your teacher, who is your teacher? Venerable Chuan Guan. I never hear his teaching before. Very good, man. My teacher better. Then, but actually both venerables maybe learn from the same teacher, or maybe both teach the same thing, Yeah, of course should be teaching the same thing. All Buddhists teach the same thing. Yeah, but the disciples maybe have this kind of discrimination. Yeah, but enlightened ones don't have this problem. Enlightened ones, when they meet another enlightened being, they have no conflict. Yeah, they have no conflict. But some devas are not. Yeah, so there are those devas who don't connect with what the Buddha has taught also. Of course, then there's Mara. Mara is the one of the heavenly being also. But this category, right? This being Mara, as I mentioned the day before. So he is very special. He is in the sensual desire, and he like to party. Yeah, he like to enjoy the five thoughts of sensual pleasure. So, in a very twisted way, he's trying to help us, help us to not be so miserable, help us to enjoy. Yeah, you close your eyes to meditate for what? Huh? You can watch movies, or you can go and go around. Of course, now COVID-19 cannot go around. Why you don't listen to music? Listen to music. Music is so nice. Then you can dance. Mara is like that. So then there's Brahma. Yeah, Brahma itself. Then there actually is a whole category now. So then there's the great Brahma. Usually when they say Brahma, right, it can also refer to the great Brahma because it's a capital B. Yeah, so it probably refer to the great Brahma. So there's one particular Brahma that is presiding over another whole category of a lot of other, which are all also Brahma. Yeah, so he's like the king god in a way. Yeah, so you find that Brahma, in this case, also come and ask Buddha question. And then there's one sutta where he come and ask Buddha, I think this particular sutta, then the Buddha asked him, why don't you go and ask other teachers? Then he said, then the Brahma said, when the moment for some of the ascetics, when I appear, they are frightened. They don't know who I am, and they are like, oh. Then for some, the moment I appear and I ask them questions, they say, you are the great Brahma that we worship, that we rely on. How can I answer your question? I don't know. I wouldn't be able to answer your question. So they are not, yeah, so they come and ask the, yeah, then, or by anyone in the world. Yeah. Nobody can refute what the Buddha said. Why? Because it's the truth. But we don't say it's the truth simply because the Buddha says so or because Sifu says so. You must go and investigate that why is the truth, and ultimately attain, experience, verify for yourself that it is the truth. So in that sense, Buddhism is a very unique religion. While it has the element of faith inside, but it actually, the core of Buddhist teaching is about critical thinking. Using modern terms is critical thinking. We want you to think, to make sense, you know, not because Buddha says so, not because Sifu says so, no, not because, or if let's say you're in a company, not because of boss says so, but cannot. If you're in a company, your boss says so, boss says so. Yeah. Do bosses want you to have critical thinking? They want you to have critical thinking when it's other matters. When it's what he say, he want you to have critical thinking. Not all bosses, to be fair. Maybe some of you are bosses and you want people to think, truly think. But or maybe what about at home? Do you want your children to have critical thinking? So this is the tricky part, and that's why sometimes parents and teenagers may have conflict, because on one hand, we know at the back of our mind, we know that we need them to think for themselves, but at the same time, when they think for themselves, sometimes they think in stupid ways. Then we're like, oh, why are you thinking this way? Yeah, but that is part of critical thinking. You need to let a person think in the right way and the wrong way, and then for them to realize that this is the right way and that is the wrong way. That is critical thinking. Critical thinking is not always about, it's not simply about getting the right answer. Yeah, it's about just being able to be free to think, to question, and then figure out what is truly right, what is truly wrong. Yeah, like sometimes with the volunteers, right? How many volunteers here? We have Siu here, Marcel here. Who else is Sean? Yeah, so three of them. Huh? Sifu spend a lot of time in the chat, right? Explain and explain and explain, correct? Explain until sometimes you don't want to read the message anymore, right? Yeah. Easier if Sifu just come in and say, just do it this way. Huh? Don't argue so much. Just do it this way, right? Which is what sometimes our boss tell us, right? Don't discuss so much. Just do it this way. Or sometimes we as parents, we tell our children, 我是老妈嘞. But Sifu rarely, unless it comes to things about like decorum, you know, like you, when I pull the Sifu card, right, is when, no, you cannot speak to Sifu in this way. Yeah, then I will pull this card because this is the only time to me this card can and should be used. Yeah, because I'm an old school one. Yeah, the line is drawn. Even if I'm not a monk, if I'm father, I will not let my children like talk in a certain way to me. I was brought this way. You all have my mother to thank. Or if you go for, I can thank my father also. Yeah, in our family, cannot means cannot. Yeah. You ask my sister, the few times I actually, even to my sister, if I were to, you know, I just argue, I never even shout or what, kena scolded by my mom. Yeah, so this is the only time. Other than that, whether it's in class or with students, I want people to figure things out. Yeah, yeah. So I think this is helpful. Yeah, I think this is helpful. Not just about getting things done, not just at home, but if you want to progress in the Dhamma, you need to have this attitude. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so sometimes when we read this, like, okay, law is like that, law. Yeah, that it cannot be turned back by anyone. But it's not because Buddha used his superpower to make people not turn it back, you know. Yeah, it's because what he said is the truth. Yeah, that nobody can refute him. But remember, it's not that nobody dare to refute him or that he don't allow people to refute him. He welcome people to come and refute him. Yeah, you know, when people come and ask him questions, he gladly respond to them. So there's a difference. That's a very crucial thing. No? Sometimes, so I thought that is important to bring up. Yeah, and of course, the Buddha also highlighted the reason because he knows what is good, knows the Dhamma, knows the right measure, knows the proper time, knows the assembly. And this is the skill on his side. Yeah, his ability on his side. Yeah, but he don't use any of this ability to stop people from asking questions, to question him. Oh? Okay, that's all I have for today. Oh, come put your palms together. 愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿得智慧真明了，
愿得智慧真明了，
不愿罪障悉消除，
不愿罪障悉消除，
世世常行菩萨道。
世世常行菩萨道。
阿弥陀佛。
阿弥陀佛。
Till we meet again, may be guided and protected by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And as always,
乖乖。
Thank you, 师父。
Thank you, 师父。
have a truthful day ahead.
Thank you, 师父。
Thank you, 师父。
阿弥陀佛。
Thank you, Sifu.
Thank you, everyone. Stay safe,
Okay.
be dry. Yeah.
Okay, bye bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, 师父。
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, bye bye.